Hello student, this is Pallad Darbari, your host, and you are watching Pallad Darbari classes. In this video, we will discuss Indian Economic Development, Chapter 5, Human Capital Formation, Volume 1. In this video, we will discuss meaning and sources of human capital, role of human capital in economic growth and development, the interrelationship between human capital and economic growth, and the problems of human capital formation in India. Let us see what is the meaning of human capital. The stock of educated, skilled labor force of a nation at a particular point of time is called human capital. So what is human capital? It is the sum total of educated and skilled labor force of the nation at a particular point of time. It is the human capital and not the human resources that contributes to the production process and thereby to economic growth. Listen, in a very simple word, we can say that when the humans becomes the valuable assets of the country, they are being referred as the human capital. The question is, when the human becomes the valuable assets? The human becomes the valuable assets of the country when they start contributing to the production process. And when the contribution in the production process increases, it leads to the economic growth of the country. So now let us see what is human capital formation. The process by which more and more humans is being added to the human capital of the country is called human capital formation. So what is human capital formation? It is the process of adding to the stock of human capital over time is referred to as a human capital formation. Try to understand it with example. If the number of skilled person in a labor force increased from 1 crore to 1.5 crore, then there is a human capital formation of 0.5 crore. How much human capital has been added? The human capital in this example has been added by 0.5 crore. So human capital formation is 0.5 crore. Why? Because human capital formation is the addition in the stock of the human capital. Now let us discuss the sources of human capital formation. The humans become the valuable asset because of following factors. Number one, because of education. When the education is being given to the humans, they become the valuable asset of the country. Why? Because when the education is being given to them, their understanding to produce more increases and they start giving more and more production. By providing the on-the-job training to the people, when the on-the-job training is being given to the people, the wastage gets checked and the people become the valuable assets of the country. Next is expenditure on health. When the proper expenditure is being incurred on health, then the humans be in the position to contribute to the production process. They attain the educations, they will not be absent from the schools, colleges, because of which their skill and the competency revived, improved, and they become the valuable assets. Next is expenditure on information. When the timely information is being given to the humans, from where they get the education, from where they get the good salary, they becomes the valuable assets, because if they have the information, they will avail the opportunity. The next is migration. When the government expenditure, when the government spent money and cut down the migration cost, human becomes the valuable assets. Why? Because the people stop availing the facilities of good education and they are not availing the facilities of good job, because the migration cost is very high. Because if somehow the migration cost get minimized, people start availing the opportunity and they become the valuable assets of the country. Now let us study all these points in detail. The first point is education. It generates the technical skills and creates manpower which suits for improving labor productivity. It results in sustained economic development. Next is education tends to bring down the birth rate, which in turn brings a decline in the population growth rate. When the birth rate falls down, population explosion comes to the normal stage and the production increases. Next, through the education makes more resources available per person. I mean, if the person is educated, they will have more options open for him. Next is it results in social benefits. By attaining education, the society as a whole will start getting the benefits. How? For example, when the education will be there, the financial condition of the society will be improved, welfare will be improved, living standard of the people will be improved. So through the education, the social benefit will be attained. The next is on the job training. Listen, technical training adds to the capacity of the people to produce more. Firms give on the job training to enhance the productive skills of the workers, to enable them to absorb new technologies and modern ideas. Advantage of such training is that it can be provided fast without much cost. It increases the productivity with the increase in skill and efficiency of workers. So on the job training do what? It increases the skills and efficiency of the workers, because of which the wastage get minimized and the productivity and finally the production increased. Firms opted two methods of providing on the job training. One is the workers may be trained in the firm itself under the supervision of a skilled worker. Second is the workers may be sent for the off campus training. Firstly, the training should be given to them, they will be sent out of the organization, um, give them the training, then they come back to the organization and start giving the benefits. Second is the workers don't have to go to anywhere. The workers is supposed to work under the tight supervision of the skilled worker, and the skilled worker will train him. So these are the ways and means by which the competency and the skills of the workers get improved. The next is expenditure on health. Listen, health is another important source of human capital formation. Preventive medicines, curative medicines, expenditure on health, literacy, and provisions of clean drinking water and good sanitation are the various forms of health expenditure. By providing, or when the government spend the expenditure on these health expenditures, the health of the people living in the country get improved, and they are in the position to contribute more in the production activities. It means they will not be absent and they will do more and more production. The next is expenditure on information. Listen, people spend to acquire information relating to labor market, another market like education and health. People seek information regarding salaries and other facilities available in different labor markets so that they can choose the right job. The people would like to know education institutions, their education standard and cost of education. This information is necessary to make decisions regarding investment in human capital. Next is migration. Listen, unemployment is the reason for the rural urban migration in India. Technically qualified person like engineers and doctors migrate to other countries because of high salaries that they get in such countries. Migration in both the cases, unemployment and better salary, involves cost of transportation, high cost of living in the migrated place, and psychic cost of living in a straight socio-culture setup. The enhanced earning in the new place, increased earning in the new place outweighed subside the cost of migration. Hence, the expenditure on migration is also a source of human capital formation. Now, let us see the importance of health and education in the growth process. Let us see the importance of health and education. Listen, because of health and education, it helps or it contributes in increasing or raising the standard of living of the people. A healthy and educated person enjoys a better standard and quality of life because he is having the opportunity to get the better job, by which his economic condition will be improved. So he is having the option. Second is greater participation rate. With improvement in health and education, the participation rate of the people in the production process increases. Listen, when the person is educated, he will get the job, he can participate. If the person is healthy, he will not be absent, he will contribute, he will be present, he will contribute in the production process. So a healthy labor force proves to be more effective. Similarly, education enhances their acceptability of modernization. Thus, health and education improves the overall participation rate in the country. The next is eradication of other macro problems. Listen, various macro problems such as poverty, income inequality, population, etc., can be overcome with the improvement of education and health. When the person is educated, he will know the problems which the country can face or which the family can face because of population explosion. And if the people are educated, they know the harms of the poverty, they know how to come out from the poverty. So definitely the measures will be taken and the problems can be easily solved. Now let us see the interrelationship between human capital and economic growth. Listen, economic growth shares a positive relationship. Which type of the relationship exists between economic growth and human capital? There exists a positive relationship between human capital and economic growth. Higher the growth of human capital, higher will be the economic growth. Let us see the reason which prove that there exists a positive relationship between the two. The first is increase in the productivity of physical capital. Listen, skilled workers are better able to utilize the machines, production plants, tools and type of equipments. Which type of the workers? Skilled workers. Skilled workers can handle the productive assets in such a manner that they are not only enhancing their productivity but also lead to efficient utilization of physical capital. So here we can see and we know that if the workers handle the physical capital properly, the production will increase. So here we have seen the production has increased because of technical soundness or because of human capital. Let us see the second reason, positive change in attitude. Listen, investment in the human capital makes people more knowledgeable, skilled and modern in their thoughts and actions. It increases their outlook and attitudes toward various aspects such as traditions, job market, etc., which are helpful for the development of the country. Because of the education, what happens? The people changes their attitude. They forget about the casteism. They will not stop their women, not stop the females to contribute in the production. All these things has come because of change in the attitude, which is possible because of education. So we say that because of change in attitude, the production increases. Let us see the next one, that is improvement in the quality of life. The quality of life the quality of life improves due to quality education. Due to what? Quality education, health and skill formation. Human capital formation enables them to enjoy a high standard of living as they can generate better salary. Let us see the next one, that is innovation and technical improvement. Technological upgradation is important for structural change. Human capital formation is not only increases the productivity of human resources but also um, stimulates innovations and creates the ability to absorb new technologies. So what happens because of education, because of human capital formation, the people becomes able to adopt the new technologies, and which finally result in the economic growth of the country. The next is rise social justice by rising productive capacities of the labor force. By doing what? By raising the productive capacity of the labor force, human capital formation rises the rate of participation. It in turns raises the degree of economic and the social equality of the society. So what happens because of um, spreading of education, because of making the people a valuable assets? What happened? I mean, the more and more people are having the options to to get a very good job, to get a good salary. So what happened because of that? It means they are having the opportunity to remove the gap between rich and poor. Next is increase in competitiveness. Higher level of human capital helps in the country to leave its mark on other countries of the world. For example, if the labor over here is efficient, if the people living here is educated, it will make a favorable image among the people of the world, and they will uh, expand their organization or try to establish their organization or open up the outlet in the country. Next is human capital. Let us see what is the human capital formation in India. Because of the importance of human capital in economic growth, we have seen how the human capital is important for the economic growth. India accorded it a high priority in its planning. India started considering human capital and at the time of making the plans. It was realized that the vast population can becomes an asset. It is being realized that the vast population is not a liability, but it is a valuable asset, and it can contribute to the economic growth only if it is educated, trained, and healthy. According to the report of the German multinational investment bank, owing to the improvement of the human capital, India will emerge as a major growth center in the world by the year 2020. In India, expenditure on health and education are carried at all the three tiers of the government, that is, union, state, and the government. Although several private players have also entered in the field, still, the government has a crucial role to play in the development of health and education facilities. Now, let us see the problems of human capital formation in India. This is some of the major problems faced in the context of human capital formation in India as follows. Number one, higher population growth rate. Listen, a rapid increase in the population becomes a hindrance in the way of human capital formation. It becomes difficult for the government to provide education to all the population, healthcare facilities to all the population. So it's an obstacle in the path of the human capital formation. The next is brain drain. Migration not only takes place within the country from rural to urban areas, but it also takes place from one country to another. If educated and the skilled human capital moves from domestic country to a foreign country, it results in economic loss to the country, and in turn to of loss of quality people having high caliber. Next is improper manpower planning. When the population is rising continuously, the demand and supply balance of the resources get disturbed. Absence of any major efforts to maintain the demand supply balance of the rising labor force has led to the wastage and the misallocation of human skills. Next is low priority to primary education. In India, secondary and the higher education have been assigned a comparatively higher priority than free and compulsory primary education. India is experiencing a high rate of primary school dropout. We have to consider it seriously, but we are ignoring it. The next is low academic standards. In recent years, many government and the private educational institutions have been set up. However, often it is being found that these institutions impart inferior quality education. Next is a problems in the measurement. Listen, the physical capital can be measured easily. However, in the case of human beings, it becomes very difficult to measure skills and productivity. That is, there is a lack of scale of measurement of human capital formation. So we are totally unable to make the strategy for the upgradation. Now let us see the government intervention, why the government is intervening in the field of education and health. First is the motive of the private institutions. Listen, the private institutions are guided by the profit motive and the demand supply relationship. The price of education and the health facilities provided by these institutions remains high. Thus government intervene by so that the free education should be given to the larger number of the people. Second reason is the interest of the weaker section. Owing to the widespread poverty, majority of the people cannot afford to avail services rendered by the private institutions. So government has to come so that the services like water facilities, electricity facilities, education facilities should be given to the weaker section of the society. Next is lack of information. People do not have complete information about the quality of services and various relevant costs. Consequently, government intervene because it becomes necessary for the government intervention. Why? To protect the interest of the society. Because if the people don't have the information, most of the time the private institutions start cheating the people. Next is neglect of rural and backward areas. The private institution confirm their operations in the urban areas. Why? Due to great profit availability of the region. Thus the rural area and the backward area remains neglected. So government step in to develop health and education facilities in these areas. Next is long gestation period. Education and health sector have long gestation period. However, their benefits are far reaching. Therefore, the government cannot completely rely on the private sectors. Dear viewers, that's all I have in this video. Thanks for watching. God bless you all. If you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe the channel and don't forget to press the bell icon so that whenever I upload the new video, you get the notification.